Have you ever completely lost control to a sudden temptation, only to wake up later wondering who was actually pulling your strings? That sense of regret often feels like waking from a hypnotic trance, realizing you weren't the one in the driver's seat. It is easy to feel vulnerable to a world that seems to be in a downward spiral, where trust is scarce and powerful, selfish forces appear to control the direction of everything. Even when we are self-aware enough to see the path we want to take, we often find ourselves defenseless against our own worst impulses, pushed around by internal forces we can't quite name. We protect these failures with convenient labels. We call an outburst stress relief. We tell ourselves a toxic habit is a deserved reward, or that acting out is a necessary part of rebellion. These stories hide a deeper lack of willpower. Relying on distractions to lower our awareness provides an escape, but it leaves us set in our ways, too set to ever master the discipline needed to create real change. Every time we give in to a momentary urge, it's as if our energy bucket has a slow leak. We spend all our time trying to refill what we've wasted on foolishness, leaving us with nothing left to power our higher intentions. Living without self-control turns a person into a puppet. When you cannot govern your own desires, you practically invite outside forces to take advantage of your weaknesses and control you. Living a better life requires a shift in perspective. You are not your impulses. You are a soul managing a temporary biological machine. This body is like a horse the soul must ride. While the rider is meant to direct the journey, the animal has its own strength and its own limits. This biological horse is driven by raw hormones and primal instincts. It plays its own game, constantly pulling the rider toward immediate gratification and physical safety at the expense of wisdom. When the horse takes over, your disciplined self is shoved aside and put to sleep. You become the animal, acting on reflex until the surge passes and your awareness finally returns to find a trail of cuts and bruises. Most people spend their lives letting these different biological parts take turns getting what they want. They exist in a state of constant internal friction, never achieving the unity required to actually direct their own lives. Stopping these hijackings requires a specific alignment of character, a way to ensure the rider stays in command of the horse's energy. This alignment depends on being smart, saintly, and self-disciplined. Wisdom provides direction, virtue gives motive, and discipline grants willpower. This patches the leaks in your energy bucket. It preserves your power, building a reserve to act with intent rather than reacting to pressure. A disciplined rider doesn't micromanage every movement of the horse's legs. Instead, they train the animal to be obedient. Over time, the body learns to respond to the soul's reasonable commands without the need for a constant struggle. Choosing to follow these internal laws is the opposite of slavery. By stopping the waste of your own energy, you open the door to a level of personal empowerment that most people never experience. But why does the soul need to conserve all that energy? What is the actual goal of mastering the horse? Internal discipline is the baseline for external influence. Mastering your own energy is the prerequisite for mastering the matter and energy of the world. Once the soul is no longer leaking power through small temptations, that energy can be directed toward higher functions. This is where the ability to heal the sick or command the elements begins, not as magic, but as the focused application of a disciplined will. There is a vital warning here. Wielding these forces without absolute self-control is a massive risk. If you cannot govern your own internal state, you remain vulnerable to the energies you are trying to move. An undisciplined healer can find a disease leaping into their own body. A seeker with weak self-control might find that the dark forces they attempt to cast out simply see a weakness to exploit and attack. Full self-discipline provides full protection. It ensures that when you act as a mystic warrior in a chaotic world, you do so from a position of invulnerability, untouched by the negative emotions and attachments that drain others. By training the horse to obey the rider, you move beyond the role of a defenseless passenger. You become a healthy, wealthy, and wise guardian of your own life, ready to handle the highest responsibilities of the soul.